Paimon and Lumine come across Jean and a Fatui diplomat talking about Storm Terror, and once again we hear that Storm Terror is one of the four winds. Jean gets visibly upset that the Fatui want to kill Storm Terror, and calls them unprofessional, with the Fatui laughing and essentially dismissing Jean. After, Jean sees us and thanks us for what we did in the last act, saying the elemental flow in Mondstadt is now back in balance. Jean mentions the delegation is putting pressure on the Knights of Favonius due to the Storm Terror situation, and Paimon questions where they're from, to which Jean replies Shneznaya, who follow the god of Cryo. Jean says then that the Cryo Archon covets the Animo Archon's power and as such does not believe they have Mondstadt's best interest at heart. Finally, Lumine states there's something she needs to show the Knights, and Jean says they should head back to her office. On the way, Jean says the Fatui diplomats are by far the most aggressive in Teyvat. She also says that Mondstadt and Shneznaya are considered equal in status, with both being an independent nation. I'm not sure exactly what this implies, as I thought prior to seeing this dialogue that each nation was independent, but I guess maybe that means from their Archon, but I'm not certain. Back in Jean's office, Lumine and Paimon show the red crystal from before to Lisa and Jean, to which Lisa tries to analyze it, only to say that she can't at the moment, and while discussing looking through some library texts, gets hurt by the crystal. She says the crystal's impurities seem to react to visions, and that its impurities and the vision's elemental energies repel each other. Lisa and Jean question what makes Lumine so special, then Jean gives Lumine the title of Honorary Knight of Favonius, asking us to help with the Storm Terror issue plaguing Mondstadt.
Honorary Knight of Favonius?
We ask for your continued assistance in finding some answers. Storm Terror's rage, and strange crystals. I know Mondstadt's peace hangs in the balance. May the wind open your eyes to the truth. We'll meet back here if you find anything.
We then leave the Knights HQ, and see the man clad in green running around in the background. We chase after him for a bit, before being led to where he's playing for a small group of people by the Archon statue, where we hear him tell this story.
What is to be sung transpired in days of yore, when the divine Archons still walked the earth. A dragon cast his curious gaze on the world below, as he parted from the heavens that gave his birth. The dragon sought truth amongst common folk, but mortal trifles only fogged his mind. The wind-born bard strummed his strings dulce, and the holy lyre answered his questions kind. The dragon was but a child, full of wonder, and soared the heavens free from care. The bard's songs invited him to sing along, for he yearned to let all perceive him fair. Enchanting legends the bard and dragon were, but the tides of despair soon engulfed the land. The lion fang perished, and the falcon flag slept, as a vile dragon approached Mondstadt in lone stand. Over the cathedral loomed Death and his friends. Of the people's agony, the bards soon sang. The soaring dragon heeded his grave calls, and amidst the windstorms a brutal war sprang. Blood of venom sent the sky dragon into slumber, only to awake to be expelled in abhor. Why do people in this age loathe me so? But the holy lyre replied no more. Wrath and woe, vigor and venom, poured from the dragon's bitter eyes. The dragon's curse sprawled in silence, but the lyre could no longer soothe his cries.
To summarize that story, The Animo Archon and the dragon Dvalin were friends essentially, but at one point, an evil dragon came to Mondstadt and Dvalin had to fight him off. Dvalin was then poisoned, awakening to the idea that people hated him, but the Animo Archon did not play his lyre for the dragon anymore, with Dvalin remaining poisoned. After the cutscene, the man recognizes us and claims to be close to the dragon. He proceeds to introduce himself as Venti the Bard. We show him the crystal, but since getting here, it's been purified somehow.
He was once such a gentle child, now so full of rage and suffering. I also came across a teardrop crystal. Can you purify it?
Venti gives us another crystal and we are able to purify it as well. This causes Venti to recognize our special traits and abilities, proceeding to tell us that Dvalin is going to ultimately wither away if he is not saved. Venti tells us that he is then heading to the symbol of Mondstadt's hero, which, as we find out, is the tree in Windrise. Once there, Venti greets us and says he was wondering if we would follow him, and upon being asked about the Animo Archon, he tells us that the Archon has been away for a long time, unlike Inazuma and Liyue's Archons.
Liyue and Inazuma's respective gods of Geo and Electro are still present, but Mondstadt has seen many a moon since they last saw their own god.
Venti then says he hasn't been back in a while, and it seems there are some not happy with his return, which we then are attacked by an Eye of the Storm.
The wind! I can't open my eyes! What is a creature like that doing out here in such a calm place? You think it was going after that green guy? His relationship with the wind seems even deeper than yours.
After defeating it, we tell him that Lisa told us about Dvalin, and Venti says Dvalin's hate came from degradation, the poison from the dragon before, Durin, who we read about in the previous act. Venti tells us that the poison made Dvalin susceptible to the lies of the Abyss Mage, which are members of the Abyss Order and command Hilichurls, using them to further their goals.
I don't know where they come from. All I know is that they hold deep hatred toward the human world. Many Hilichurls out in the wild take orders from them and act as their weapons.
Venti reveals that since the meeting with Dvalin earlier was interrupted, Venti became poisoned, but since coming to the tree he has been purified, and reveals that now, because we technically caused his poisoning here, he wants us to help him claim the holy lyre Der Hermel, which is the lyre Barbatos used to play. At the cathedral, Venti reveals that he believes that if he plays it for Dvalin, he can cure him.
Will it really stop Storm Terror from causing more damage?
Of course! I'm the best bard in the world. There's not a single song I do not know, no matter if it's from the past, present, or future. Look me in the eyes. Do you not find me trustworthy?
Inside, Venti asks a sister of the church if he can borrow the lyre, which she refuses before he claims to be Barbatos in the flesh.
Then, I guess I'm left with no other choice. I cannot hide anymore. My disciples, rejoice! Behold, the god of Animo, Barbatos, has descended. Shocked, aren't you? Don't you just want to cry out and rejoice? How does it feel to finally meet the god you've been serving?
Afterward, he asks us to ask instead, since we're the hotshot of the Knights of Favonius. We try and fail, so Venti suggests we go in at night to steal it.
Who are you? She disappeared!
Freeze! What are you doing here?
No, run! Oh no! We're busted! Run!
What? Follow me.
Once we sneak through the cathedral, as we get to the lyre, a Fatui mage comes in and steals it before us, just as a guard comes in and sees us. We then run out, tell Venti we've been caught, and he leads us away with wind currents as we glide. We reach the Angel's Share Tavern, where Venti asks for the least conspicuous table.
The second floor has fewer customers. You'd be less conspicuous up there. But aren't you a bard? Why not sit front and center?
Let's save the paid performance for next time. We'll be heading up now. See you in a bit.
Where the Pyro Man from Act 1, who we hear is named Luke, tells us that the second floor would be best. Two knights come in, ask about us, telling Luke we tried to steal the Holy Lyre, and he points them away from us. We go downstairs after the knights leave, and Luke tells us he wants answers about what's going on. Venti asks to finish his drink first, Diluc says he seems too young, and Venti starts to say he was drinking when Diluc was still young, before stopping himself. Kinda sus if you ask me. Diluc questions us, asking about stealing the lyre, then Paimon says it wasn't us, and that the real thief is still out there. Venti tells Diluc we're the hotshot of the Knights of Favonius, and asks why we would steal the lyre if that's the case. Like last time, Diluc calls the Knights inefficient, and says that when it comes to the Fatui, they are weak. Diluc asks us why we wanted to steal the lyre, and Venti tells him in the form of his story from earlier, which moves Diluc, who says it's confidential information, asking why Venti let him know.
What did I just witness? This is confidential information. Why did you let me know?
Diluc agrees to help us get the lyre, saying we should meet back at the tavern at night, saying we won't be a suspect, but Venti should stay at the tavern. We go back at night and find Jean there helping now. Venti filled Jean in about the situation Dvalin is in, to which she says she can't come forward with the information publicly, and that she will have to help us deal with it in private.
My cautious and meticulous superior, even you trust him, don't you, sir?
I already told you not to call me sir.
Weird note here, Jean mentions her superior, who I assume to mean the true Grand Master, and the voices say him, but the text says her. Just a weird note, but the voice dialogue is correct, as we know the Grand Master is male. Also, Jean calls Diluc sir, which he tells her not to call him. Jean reveals that the Fatui want to kill Dvalin in order to get to the Animo God's power, and says that if the Knights prevented an attempt on Dvalin's life, then the other way to get to the Animo God would be through the lyre.
If the Knights of Favonius publicly prevented an attempt on Dvalin's head, then the only other way to affect the Animo God's power is to take the Holy Lyre.
After, Venti says he thinks the Fatui are going to try to draw the Animo Archon out via Dvalin and the lyre. We then go to the Fatui lair, have a fight with an agent, and grab the lyre.
Senora is going to end you. The songs bards sing of your demise will be so terrifying. The people of Mondstadt will never sleep again for the nightmares they give them.
The agent threatens us, saying Signora, who we don't know, will end us. Getting back to the tavern, Venti is apparently filled with memories upon touching the lyre, but everyone just kind of ignores that for some reason. Venti tells us the lyre is fine, except that the strings aren't powered up, and tells us to use Dvalin's purified tear on the lyre, which gives it some power.
The lyre itself is fine, but the strings... Do you still have Dvalin's teardrop crystal with you? Great! Try to use it on the Holy Lyre. It worked as expected.
After this, Venti tells us we need to find more tears to power up the lyre. Little note of interest. A thief tried to steal a vial of the Animo God's breath once, but then lost it, and a ton of fake vials ended up on the black market, and the Fatui wanted the real one, so now Diluc just kind of buys everyone he finds.
Is this an...
Paimon didn't think we'd find Dvalin's tears in a place like this.
As knights, we are taught to hone our investigative skills.
Wow, very impressive.
We find the first here, and Jean and Diluc reveal they both had a pet tortoise when they were kids. Not sure why this is relevant, but they say it, and I guess it's interesting, so I'm saying it here.
We're done gathering. That was hard.
It's too early to relax. We're still not done with Storm Terror. Besides, the Fatui could also be planning something.
Then we find the second tier, and Jean says the Fatui declared Diluc a persona non grata, which is an acceptable or unwelcome person. Jean says this is because the Fatui are a threat to all of Mondstadt, and starts to imply that Diluc is kind of a protector of Mondstadt before Diluc stops her. After getting the next and last tier, we go to Dawn Winery to purify the tears and apply them to the Holy Lyre, fully restoring it.
It is hard to believe such a thing is possible until you've seen it with your own eyes.
Interesting. It's like filtering wine. The process is refreshing.
I think we should have enough tears now. So next we... use the crystals on the Holy Lyre like last time.
It worked!
It seems completely different from before.
The lyre's animo power seems fully restored. We should be able to use it now. It's all thanks to you.
Now, where should we summon Storm Terror?
Jean then questions where to summon Storm Terror and suggests the winery before Diluc then turns down the idea, saying that while he could fix the winery if it was damaged or destroyed, he would rather not deal with it. Venti says a high place or place near the sea would be best, and we all decide to meet at Starsnatch Cliff.
I, the best wandering bard of the mortal world, shall begin my performance with the Holy Lyre.
What has been done cannot be undone.
Then why do I see sadness in your eyes? Sadness that speaks of your yearning for this song.
They are communicating. Huh?
No! Don't get bored!
Do not be fooled by him, dear dragon. He left you to rot alone. Now he attempts to deceive you once more.
Barbatos.
Let your wrath fester. Mondstadt has already turned its back on you.
You were planning this all along to have me slain.
No, listen to me!
The time has come for the dragon to serve its true master. While you beware your magnetic shadows, watch the world tremble with fear.
Dvalin.
Upon getting there, Venti summons Dvalin. In the cutscene, Dvalin speaks to Venti, addressing him as Barbatos, and the lyre gets destroyed. This reveals that he is of course Barbatos, something that he had alluded to previously, and suggests that Jean knew of his true identity before. We discuss needing to find the Abyss Mage, and Diluc says he'll talk to some contacts to find them.
Your Highness, your humble servant returns. When your homeland returns to this world, we shall revel in its glory.
To end, we find the Abyss Mages bowing to Aether, calling him Prince, revealing he is the one leading the Abyss Order, saying that they will revel in the glory of his homeland upon its return to this world. This leads directly into Prologue Act 3. Hi everyone, I just wanted to pop in here at the end to say thanks so much for watching. It really means a lot if you got this far. I also wanted to say that I stream on Twitch on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and most Saturdays. If you enjoyed this video and my calm demeanor, you may also enjoy my streams. Again, thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe as well, or a comment to tell me what you thought. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Bye everyone!